Most men have no idea why younger women sometimes smile at them. They assume it's politeness. They assume it's nothing. They assume it's random. But the truth is far deeper, far more psychological, and far more shocking than most men will ever admit to themselves. What if I told you that there's a type of energy, a kind of presence, that women recognize instinctively, a presence that has nothing to do with looks, money, or status? What if I told you that every year of life, every failure, every struggle, every lesson you've endured has built something invisible, but incredibly magnetic, inside you that younger women can feel before you even say a word? Most men never notice it because they've been taught to underestimate themselves. They've been taught to chase, to prove, to seek validation from the world. But women, especially younger women, don't respond to chasing. They respond to a man who has mastered himself. They respond to calm, grounded confidence. They respond to life experience, discipline, and emotional depth that radiates naturally without effort. And here's the kicker: most older men walk around every day completely unaware that the very energy they carry is already commanding attention. They see their own presence as ordinary, and yet it is extraordinary. By the end of this video, you're going to see yourself differently. You're going to understand why that smile isn't random, why that subtle look isn't meaningless, and why the qualities you've developed over time are more powerful than any muscle, car, or suit you could ever wear. You're going to discover the hidden truth most men never learn. And once you understand it, your perception of attraction, confidence, and influence will never be the same again. So stay with me, because what I'm about to reveal will shock you, challenge you, and awaken the hidden power that's been inside you all along. Most men never truly understand how deeply women respond to energy. They think attraction starts with appearance, or wealth, or charisma, or something external. But the part that shocks them, the part no one ever teaches them, is that women read the world through emotional frequencies, not physical details. They're not observing your face first, your age first, or your outfit first. Before their mind analyzes you, their nervous system scans you, and that scan happens in seconds, sometimes even before eye contact. This is why younger women often smile at older men without even knowing why. Their body recognizes a type of energy that feels safe, grounded, and steady. They respond to presence, not years. This is where most older men misunderstand their own impact. They assume age is a disadvantage, something they must compensate for. But the reality is the opposite. Their age has shaped an energy that younger men cannot imitate, no matter how hard they try. It's the energy of someone who has lived, who has fallen and gotten back up, who has tasted victory and defeat, who has had to grow emotionally because life left them no choice. And this energy becomes a silent magnetic field. Women feel it instantly. They feel the difference between a man who still needs validation and a man who has outgrown that hunger. Younger women smile at older men not because they see a number, but because they sense a quality. The quality of emotional gravity. A younger man often moves with a restless pull, searching for identity, approval, or recognition. But an older man carries himself with a stillness that is rare. He doesn't rush because he knows where he stands. He doesn't chase attention because he has learned that attention is unstable. He doesn't need to explain who he is because life itself already shaped the answer. And women feel that stability like oxygen in a world filled with noise. What fascinates people is that this entire interaction happens underneath awareness. A younger woman herself may not consciously know why she smiled. She just feels compelled, drawn, softened. Something in him signals maturity, certainty, calmness. Something in him signals that he is not threatened by her beauty, not intimidated by her presence, not overwhelmed by her femininity. He simply exists as himself, complete, grounded, whole. Women recognize this kind of man without needing a conversation. They sense who a man is before they hear what he says. Energy is the language of attraction long before words enter the conversation. And older men often carry a language that younger men haven't learned yet. The language of self-control, the language of emotional clarity, the language of discipline, forged by years of mistakes and corrections. A woman feels whether a man can handle himself emotionally. She can sense if he is reactive or responsive, insecure or centered. And older men, simply by living more life, naturally radiate a form of emotional structure that is incredibly appealing, especially to younger women navigating a world full of uncertainty. The smile she gives is not flirtation, it is recognition, recognition of emotional maturity, recognition of inner strength, recognition of masculine energy that has refined itself over time. Women are deeply attracted to men who have reached a point where they do not need external chaos to feel alive. Younger men often seek drama, distraction, stimulation. Older men seek peace, and peace is one of the most attractive forces a man can possess. Women rate it instantly. For a younger woman, encountering an older man with this energy feels like stepping out of a storm and finding shelter. Not a boring shelter, but a strong one. A presence that communicates, I am not here to control you, but I am in control of myself. I am not here to impress you, but I know my value. I am not here to take something from you, but I have something to offer, not in material terms, but in emotional consistency. This is rare, and anything rare is attractive. Men underestimate how sensitive women are to nervous system regulation. A woman who feels safe around a man doesn't feel safe because of his muscles or money. She feels safe because of his emotional predictability, his calmness, his internal order. And older men, simply because they've lived long enough to understand themselves, often project an emotional stability that younger men haven't yet developed. This is why even a simple smile can feel different when directed at an older man. It's a response to the sense of grounding he radiates without effort. What older men don't realize is that they are walking with a form of masculine maturity that younger men try to fake. They try to act confident. They try to appear calm. They try to pretend they don't care. But older men don't pretend. They don't need to. Their energy speaks the truth. Confidence isn't loud, it is quiet. Attraction isn't forceful, it is natural. And presence isn't performed, it is felt. A younger woman smiles because she recognizes authenticity. She recognizes a man who has lived long enough to stop performing masculinity and start embodying it. She sees the difference between surface, level confidence and real inner strength. She responds to the man who doesn't need to be validated by her attention. Ironically, that lack of need makes her want to give it. And the beautiful part is most older men don't even know they carry this power. They've spent so much of their life working, surviving, handling responsibilities, pushing through disappointments, that they've forgotten to notice the qualities they developed along the way. They don't see the quiet confidence in their posture, the maturity in their eyes, the calmness in their tone. They don't see the way a woman feels more relaxed in their presence. They don't see how naturally grounded they are, because to them, it isn't confidence, it's just who they are now. But this is exactly what makes their energy so attractive. They are not trying. They are not calculating. They are not seeking a reaction. They are simply being the man that life shaped them into. True authenticity is magnetic. Women respond to men who do not need to be seen, because that's exactly what makes them worth seeing. When a younger woman smiles at an older man, she is responding to something rare. Emotional depth without emotional chaos. Masculine energy without aggression. Confidence without arrogance. Strength without the need to dominate. Experience without bitterness. Wisdom without superiority. This combination is powerful because it can only be created through time. It cannot be rushed, taught, or imitated. Energy is the foundation of human connection, and older men carry a frequency that younger women often find grounding. She smiles because she feels the difference. She smiles because she recognizes stability when she sees it. She smiles because your presence shifts something inside her. even if both of you never say a word. Attraction begins long before words. It begins with how a man makes a woman feel without touching her, speaking to her, or even knowing her name. And if there's one thing I want every older man to understand, it's this: your value is not in your age. Your value is in the energy life has built inside you. And women, especially younger women, can feel it even before you do. So the next time you receive that smile, don't doubt it, don't question it, and don't assume it's nothing. Recognize what it truly represents: a reflection of the strength, wisdom, and grounded presence you have earned over years of becoming who you are. Because sometimes a smile isn't flirting. Sometimes a smile is simply the world reminding you of your worth. Life experience is the secret ingredient most men never truly appreciate, and it's the very reason women, especially younger women, are drawn to older men. They don't see the trials, the failures, or the sleepless nights. They only feel the energy that rises from all of it. What older men often dismiss as just life is actually the architecture of a magnetic presence. Each failure, each setback, each challenge has carved something into their energy that cannot be replicated, cannot be faked, and cannot be rushed. It is in this accumulation of experience that real attractiveness resides. Not in looks, not in money, not in status, but in the quiet, undeniable strength that emerges from surviving life and coming out intact, tempered, and whole. Most younger men focus on immediate outcomes. They chase validation, they chase admiration, they chase results that can be measured in numbers, likes, and social recognition. And in doing so, they miss the subtler, more profound growth that comes from facing adversity and remaining steadfast. Life experience teaches patience, teaches discipline, teaches the art of responding rather than reacting. It teaches how to stay composed when chaos surrounds you. And these lessons, accumulated over years, create an aura that is perceptible to anyone who can read energy, which is exactly why younger women unconsciously recognize and respond to it. What older men often underestimate is how powerfully life shapes the internal world. A man who has struggled, who has failed and rebuilt himself, carries a depth in his presence that is magnetic. This depth communicates stability, resilience, and wisdom without a single word. Younger men may attempt to mimic confidence, but it is surface level, performative. Life experience, however, embeds authenticity into every action, every gesture, every glance. Women are experts at reading authenticity. They can feel the difference between a man who acts strong and a man who has been made strong. There is a philosophical truth here. Adversity is not just hardship, it is education. Each challenge, each disappointment, each moment of doubt or pain contributes to a man's internal structure. It teaches him boundaries, discernment, and the difference between what is worth his energy and what is not. It teaches him how to manage his emotions, how to navigate complex social landscapes, and how to maintain his integrity even when no one is watching. And these are precisely the qualities that create the magnetic masculine presence women respond to. A younger woman is drawn not to the age itself, but to the story that energy tells. She senses that behind the calm composure, behind the quiet confidence, is a life lived with intentionality, a man who has not been sheltered from reality, but has faced it head on. The difference between a man who has experienced life and one who hasn't is like the difference between a tree that has weathered storms and a sapling in a greenhouse. Both may look similar from a distance, but the tree that has endured carries a strength that cannot be faked. Its roots are deep, its branches steady, and its presence commands respect. Women perceive that strength subconsciously. They feel it, even if they cannot articulate it. This is why life experience translates into emotional intelligence, and emotional intelligence is magnetic. A man who has seen the world, who has failed and learned, who has loved and lost, carries a sense of understanding about human behavior that younger men cannot yet access. He can read situations, anticipate reactions, and respond in a way that communicates security and reliability. Women recognize this immediately. They feel it in the way he carries himself, in the way he listens, and in the way he interacts without neediness or pretense. Experience also teaches clarity. Clarity about what is important, clarity about boundaries, clarity about desires, and clarity about values. A younger man may still be exploring, unsure of what he wants or who he is, but an older man has learned to prioritize. He knows how to invest his energy wisely. He understands the difference between short-term gratification and long-term growth, and this clarity exudes a confidence that women cannot help but notice. They sense that this man does not compromise his integrity for approval, that he does not bend to fit someone else's expectations, and that he has cultivated a life on his own terms. Another aspect of life experience is the ability to manage challenges with composure. Older men who have faced hardships, whether in career, relationships, or personal development, carry a calm energy. They have been through storms that would have destroyed a younger man's ego, and yet they remain grounded. This calmness, this ability to navigate difficulties without panic or overreaction, is incredibly attractive to a woman. It signals security, competence, and reliability, all qualities that go far beyond surface-level attraction. Women also respond to a man's learned resilience. The way he handles pressure, disappointment, and unexpected setbacks communicates volumes about his inner strength. Younger men may react impulsively, emotionally, or selfishly, revealing the gaps in their maturity. An older man, shaped by years of experience, moves differently. His energy communicates that he has endured, that he has grown, and that he is capable of providing stability and security. This is a subtle, almost imperceptible form of attraction, but it is extremely powerful. Experience also fosters patience, and patience is an overlooked component of attraction. A man who has lived through life understands that things unfold in their own time, that outcomes are not always immediate, and that relationships, success, and self-mastery require consistent effort. This patience is part of his energy. It communicates that he is measured, considered, and deliberate. Women feel this energy and respond to it because it contrasts sharply with the impatience and impulsiveness often found in younger men. Patience conveys trustworthiness, reliability, and emotional stability, qualities that women instinctively recognize and value. What's crucial for older men to understand is that this attractiveness is not about flaunting achievements or broadcasting experience. It is about presence, authenticity, and the quiet confidence that comes from knowing who you are. Women do not need to hear a man's life story to sense his depth. They feel it in every subtle aspect of his behavior, from the way he moves to the way he speaks to the way he maintains composure under pressure. Life experience manifests as an energy that is both compelling and reassuring. Older men often underestimate the subconscious signals that their life has encoded into their energy. Each decision made under pressure, each lesson learned through failure, each moment of self-discipline, these are invisible, but they resonate deeply with women. A younger woman may smile, linger, or express interest, not because she consciously understands the source of attraction, but because her instincts recognize a man who has been tempered by life, who carries wisdom without arrogance, and who radiates stability without effort. Ultimately, life experience is not a superficial metric, it is a transformative force. It shapes not only knowledge and skill, but also character, presence, and energy. It teaches men how to handle themselves, how to navigate complex human dynamics, and how to embody qualities that are deeply attractive at a fundamental level. Younger women respond to these qualities instinctively, often without realizing why, and the beauty of it is that this energy cannot be learned overnight. It cannot be simulated, faked, or rushed. It must be earned through living, learning, and growing over time. So the lesson here is simple, yet profound. Your life experience is your advantage. Every challenge you have faced, every failure you have endured, every lesson you have absorbed. These are the foundations of your presence, your authenticity, and your magnetic energy. Younger women recognize it because they can feel the depth you have cultivated through time. They respond to it because they sense that you are not just surviving life, but mastering it. They see a man who has endured, grown, and emerged stronger. They see someone who carries the rare combination of strength, stability, and wisdom that only experience can forge. And if there is one truth I want you to leave with, it is this: the energy you carry from your life is more powerful than any external attribute. It is magnetic, it is compelling, and it is noticed by those who have the sensitivity to recognize it. Your value does not come from your age, your appearance, or your possessions. It comes from the life you have lived and the man you have become through it. Embrace your experiences, honor your journey, and understand that the strength and depth you carry is already creating attraction and respect in ways you may never have imagined. Your life experience is not just a story, it is your power, your presence, and your edge. And when you truly recognize that, you begin to walk differently, speak differently, and carry yourself with a quiet magnetism that no one can ignore. That is the real reason younger women are drawn to men like you, even before a single word is spoken. Most older men never stop to realize the value they carry because they are so accustomed to their own presence. They have lived long enough to see themselves struggle, to witness themselves fail, to push through challenges that would have broken a younger man. And yet, in their daily life, this power and resilience feels ordinary, almost invisible. They don't see it because it has become part of who they are. And this is precisely what younger women sense so profoundly. They recognize qualities that a man himself often takes for granted, qualities that have been quietly honed through experience, introspection, and the trials of life. A younger woman sees more than just the surface. She sees a man who has endured, who has learned, who has grown. She notices the subtle markers of maturity, the way he carries himself, the calm in his voice, the steadiness in his gaze, the patience in his actions. She sees someone who has faced life's uncertainties and emerged not hardened, but refined. And the fascinating truth is that most men never realize this is happening. They underestimate the silent admiration that emanates from their energy. They overlook the power of presence because to them, it is simply the result of living. Women instinctively notice the difference between a man who seeks validation and a man who embodies self-assurance. Younger men may appear confident, but confidence without depth is fragile. It is performative, it is fleeting. Older men, shaped by experience and tempered by life, carry confidence differently. It is grounded, steady, unwavering. It does not need to be proven or displayed. And this is exactly what younger women respond to. They see a man who has reached a point where he is comfortable in his own skin, where he does not chase attention, and where he does not depend on anyone else to define his worth. This comfort, this self-possession, radiates as magnetic energy. There is also a subtle power in emotional awareness. Older men have often faced situations that demanded introspection. They have been hurt, they have made mistakes, they have lost people and opportunities. These experiences teach them not only resilience, but also empathy and understanding. A woman notices when a man has learned from life rather than being hardened by it. She feels the difference between someone who reacts impulsively and someone who responds thoughtfully. She senses when a man has mastered his emotions, when he has cultivated patience, and when he carries a depth that only comes from living fully. Younger women respond to men who are anchored. They respond to stability, both emotional and psychological. An older man who knows his mind, understands his values, and respects his boundaries communicates a type of safety that younger men often cannot provide. She may smile at him, linger in conversation, or show subtle signs of attraction, and yet he may not even understand why. He may dismiss it as politeness or luck, not realizing that it is the reflection of his own growth, discipline, and inner strength. The energy he carries is magnetic because it is authentic, unforced, and undeniable. What older men fail to recognize is that their lived experiences are visible even when they are invisible. The way they handle stress, the way they treat people around them, the calmness they maintain in uncertainty, all of these convey a depth of character. A younger woman, consciously or unconsciously, notices these cues. She feels them in the small gestures, in the tone of voice, in the measured choices he makes. Attraction is not just about words, appearances, or material success. It is about the life a man has built internally, the resilience he has cultivated, and the strength he exudes without trying. Moreover, older men often underestimate the appeal of autonomy. Women are drawn to men who have learned to choose their own path, who have shaped their lives with intention, and who are not controlled by the whims of others. Independence is magnetic because it signals competence, stability, and reliability. A younger woman senses when a man is making decisions from a place of self-possession rather than insecurity. She feels when a man acts from a sense of integrity rather than ego. And the truth is, most older men do this naturally. They have been forced by life to develop judgment, discernment, and self-reliance. They often dismiss these qualities as ordinary, but to a woman, they are extraordinary. There is also a philosophical depth that older men carry without always realizing it. Life teaches lessons that cannot be taught in books, seminars, or through imitation. It teaches humility, patience, courage, discernment, and the ability to navigate complexity without losing oneself. These lessons shape a man's energy in a way that younger men simply cannot replicate. A younger woman feels this energy as a subtle reassurance, a sense of security, and an unspoken understanding. She responds not to the man's age, but to the sum of his experiences, the wisdom he has acquired, the resilience he has developed, and the depth of character he projects. What is remarkable is that this recognition often happens without any conversation or explanation. She does not need to hear about his struggles, his achievements, or his failures. She simply senses the man he has become. This is the silent power of self-awareness. Older men underestimate the attraction of simply being fully themselves. They may overthink, underestimate, or dismiss the signs of interest directed at them, not realizing that the energy they carry speaks louder than words ever could. Older men should also consider the role of emotional authenticity in this dynamic. A younger woman notices when a man's emotions are genuine. She feels the difference between forced charm and natural ease, between superficial bravado and genuine presence. The trials of life teach older men to feel deeply without being overwhelmed, to express themselves authentically without fear, and to maintain composure in the face of uncertainty. This emotional authenticity is powerful. It is magnetic, and it is often invisible to the men themselves, yet highly perceptible to women who are attuned to energy and emotional nuance. The subtlety of this attraction is critical. It is not loud, obvious, or showy. It is quiet, understated, and internalized, and that is what makes it so effective. Women do not need overt displays of power or confidence. They respond to the underlying truth of character. They notice the man who carries the weight of his experiences with grace. They feel the difference between someone who has grown through life and someone who is still trying to prove himself. They recognize the calm assurance, the patience, and the authenticity that only time and experience can forge. Ultimately, the power of an older man lies in his recognition of himself. When he understands the value he carries, the energy he radiates, and the growth he has cultivated, he begins to move through life differently. He communicates without effort, attracts without trying, and commands respect naturally. The smiles, the attention, and the subtle signs of admiration he receives from younger women are not random. They are reflections of his inner strength, emotional depth, and lived wisdom. And this is the truth most older men never realize. Women see more than the surface. They see the journey, they see the growth, they see the man behind the exterior, and they respond to it instinctively, often before the man even recognizes his own power. They smile, linger, or show interest, not because of superficial attributes, but because of the depth, resilience, and authenticity the man carries naturally. So, if there is one lesson to take away, it is this: your value is often invisible to you, but it is unmistakable to others. The qualities you have cultivated through experience, struggle, and self-mastery are magnetic, compelling, and deeply attractive. Recognize them, own them. Understand that the energy you carry as a result of your life is already influencing the world around you, whether you see it or not. A younger woman's smile is rarely just politeness. It is recognition of your presence, your growth, your depth, and your authenticity. It is a mirror reflecting the strength, wisdom, and resilience that life has built into you. And the moment you fully understand and embrace this truth, you begin to walk, speak, and act in a way that is impossible to ignore. Your journey, your growth, your energy, they are not just yours. They are signals to the world, reminders that who you have become is powerful, magnetic, and undeniable. And when you finally see yourself as others see you, every interaction, every glance, every smile will carry new meaning, new confidence, and new opportunities.